Hey, welcome to my channel. This is BK from CocoZIni.com. In today's tutorial, I'll be making this beautiful origami bag, and we'll be using some part of an old denim that I'm not using anymore for this bag. I mean, you could use a denim for the whole bag and you could just combine it like I did here. So let's get started. To get started, we need a pattern. And this pattern is going to be a triangle which has a 16 inches long and 8 inches high. So you're just going to draw the height in the middle of the 16 inches, which is 8 inches high. Then we're going to go ahead and connect the angles. When you're done, you measure or draw out the seam allowance, which is half an inch. So I'm also going to go ahead and add half an inch to the triangle for the seam allowance. When you're done adding the seam allowance, you go ahead and cut it out. So I'm using an old denim pant. So I've gone ahead and I've cut out one of the legs, and I'm using this pattern to cut out the shape that I want. I want this a shape that is in the size of the pattern that I did earlier in the video. So go ahead and cut out the triangle on the denim, and you'll be cutting two different triangle on the denim. So you'll be using two of the legs to cut out two different, two triangles. I'm using the traced out denim that I already cut to cut out another one on another leg that I cut out from the old denim jeans. For this design of the bag, which is like an origami bag, you need 6 pieces of triangles. So if you have enough space to cut out 6 pieces from your old denim pant, go ahead and do that. And if you don't have enough space like mine, I'm using other fabric as an alternative. So I'm cutting out 4 pieces of triangles using an Ankara fabric, African print Ankara fabric, for the remaining 4 pieces. We will also need lining for the back. So for the lining, you have to fold the lining like I just did, put it on fold, then you put the triangle pattern on the folded part of the lining. Then on the side, you measure out the triangle again, overlapping the seam, like so. And you will do the same thing to the other side of the lining. So it's like you have 3 triangles with the tip or the apex touching each other, just like I have right here. Now you're going to go ahead and cut it out. And when you're done cutting, this is what it's going to look like. So you have the folded part of the lining. Then bring out the 1 piece of your denim and 2 pieces of the cotton fabric. So we're going to join it together like you see here. You pin out with right side facing each other. Pin out one side of each triangle together, then take it to the machine and sew it with half an inch seam allowance. Here is what it looks like after I got done sewing it together. So we are going to do the same thing to the other side of the denim. So grab another cotton fabric with right side facing each other, pin it together, and take it to the machine and sew it together with half an inch seam allowance. Here is what it looks like after I join it together. So I have the two cotton fabric all joined to the denim. So we're going to do the same thing to the remaining three pieces. You're going to join the cotton fabrics to the denim at each sides. Here are the two sides. So you can go ahead and finish the seam, the edges of the seam with a zigzag stitch, but this is optional since we are gonna have lining, but we have to top stitch on the seam. So we go ahead and top stitch after pressing the seam to our side. So here's what I did. I went ahead and I did a zigzag to finish the edges of the seam, which like I said earlier is optional. And I zigzagged the whole seam, the two sides. After I got done with that, I went ahead and I top stitch, like I said. I first pressed the seam to a side. I pressed it towards the cotton side and I top stitch on the edge of each seam on the two sides. When I got done with this, I will go ahead and sew all around with the right side of the fabric facing each other. Grab your lining. I will be doing the same thing to the lining, but before we go ahead, if you want a pocket inside of your lining, before you sew the two sides together, let's add the pocket. For the pocket, I used 6 inches by 9 inches long fabric. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fold it in or iron it in half an inch all the way around, like so. But when I get to the top of it, one side of the long side, I have to fold it in 3/4 of an inch. And that is going to be the top of the pocket. So here's a closer look. I've ironed it and I have it all around half an inch, and the top part I have 3/4 of an inch. So I will be adding this pocket to the lining. On the lining, I have the wrong side of a lining right now. So I'm going to add the pocket to the right side of the lining. So I'm opening up the lining right now. That's the right side. I will be adding the pocket to the right side of the lining, and the top side of the pocket is facing the angle. So I'm going to go ahead and sew the sides of the pocket and the bottom part of the pocket. So I will leave the top part open. So to make sections to the pocket, I'll just sew a line in between. I've, I'm done with the pocket now, and here's what it looks like. I've sewn it around, and I have the top part open, and I also sew a line in between so I could have two different space for the pocket. And I will go ahead and sew the two sides of the lining. Once I'm done with the lining, and also once I'm done with the fabric, I'm going to open up the lining. I will turn the main fabric to the right side. But before we do that, we have to do the angles. So at the angle, you will measure 3 inches and draw a line. And you can use anything to draw a line. I'm going to use my wax fabric liner. So you draw out 3 inches and mark it and make a line. Then you do this to the other side of the fabric also. And that is the bottom part of the bag. So I'm going to draw out another 3 inches here and mark it down. I will do the same thing to the lining. So at the bottom part right there, I will grab the edge. I will do the same thing like I did to the main fabric. I will do it to the lining, and I'll measure out 3 inches. And I will cut out a line. So I will take all this to the machine and sew on the line that I traced out. Like so. So I have gone ahead, I have stitched each of these sides of both the fabric and the lining, and I've also finished the edges by a zigzag stitch. Then I cut out the excess of the fabric, and here is the same thing I did to the lining. So that's the two sides of a lining, all zigzagged to finish the edges and sewn together. So grab your main fabric and turn the right side out. While your lining is still on the left side, insert the main fabric into the lining. See, the lining is on the left side. So insert it into the lining like so. So it's going to be like as if the two right sides are facing each other. That is, we have the right side of a lining and the right side of the fabric facing each other. So we're going to pin out the tip all around, joining the fabric and the lining together. Make sure the seams are aligned to each other, the seam of the fabric and also the seam of the lining. Just make sure that both of them are all aligned together properly. When you're done pinning it together, make sure you leave a little space, like almost 3 inches in between, so you can easily use it to turn the fabric. So here I have already sewn the two together, and that is the space that I left for me to use in turning in or turning out the fabric and the lining. So I'm pulling out the denim out, or the right side I will say out. So now that I'm done pulling it out, I will just push in the lining inside of the bag, like so. So here's what we have after I stitched the lining and the fabric together. And once we're done, We will also go ahead and top stitch on the edge all around. So if you can easily do it, you can go ahead and just do it. But I find mine better by pinning it. So I pinned it together first. Then I'm going to go ahead and top stitch it together. When I got done top stitching, I cut out a strap using the denim. So I'm cutting out 4 inches by 25 inches long strap. Then I'm going to stitch the two sides all the way to the middle. That I'll have to leave like 3 or 2 inches wide space like I have here. I have already gone in and I have stitched it with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm going to go ahead and kind of cut out the corners so it won't be bulky by the time I turn it out. Then using the space that I left in the middle, which is like 3 or 2 inches wide, I will go ahead and turn out the strap to the right side. Here is what it looks like when I got done turn it turn it inside out or outside to the right side. So I'm going to go ahead and top stitch the whole strap all around. Here is what it looks like when I got done top stitching it. So I did top stitch all around. Then I'm going to grab the bag and I'm going to sew it on top of the bag like so. And I would just sew it a triangle around using the stitch that I already have there on the two sides. I have attached the strap to the bag using an existing stitch that I have on the strap. I also went ahead and did an X on the rectangle just to secure the strap more. So there it is, guys. That's the bag, and there is still some more stuff that you can still do to this bag, but I like mine this way. You can add more stuff like adding a button to the top of the bag. You can add a snap to the top of the bag. You can even add an overlap snap to the back, to the bag also. So but that's it, guys. Thank you for watching this tutorial. If you like this tutorial, you can give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to press the subscribe button to come back for more tutorials from me. So until I see you the next time, stay blessed and have a wonderful one. Bye bye.